So this morning we are going to refit the clamp onto a Pfaff expression. First thing to say is there is a couple of different styles of these clamps. This is the newer style. The principle is the same with both, but they just look a little different. We've got all the parts here, and what we've done is tip the machine onto its back, the preferred position. You can place parts and they don't fall off if it's on its back, so that's always the easiest way. The first thing is the little wedge, and this isn't symmetrical, so we have to be careful which way this goes in. It's got a flat on one side. Try to focus in on that. Got a flat on one side and a curve on the other, and the flat goes towards the screw, which is on the right. So we're going to turn that around and see if we can drop that in there. There's a little slot for it. Very, very fiddly thing. So it sits in the slot, and there's a vertical slot as well. That's where the needle goes. So it's important to have the clamp central, the wedge central on the shaft, so that the needle can eventually go up the middle. If these get out of position, which can sometimes happen, and they're pushed across with no needle in, then you can't get the needle in. So there is a way around that, but that's for another day. At the moment, as we're refitting, we try and keep everything central. Then the clamp goes on, again fiddly, like so. And we're going to pop the screw in on the right hand side. It's important not to do the screw up, because it'll push that wedge across and then you won't be able to get a needle in. So I'm going to swap hands here. So, as with normal, flat to the back. I can assure you it's easy when you're not holding the camera, but there we go. So we're going to push the needle all the way up. It doesn't go all the way up, but we just want to make sure we've got that wedge in the middle. What we're going to do is just tighten the screw just a little bit. What that's going to do is just hold everything into position. You can see the clamp moving. That's because the screw isn't in place that holds it together. So that's quite rigid now. And what we're able to do is spin the machine round, so we're looking at the back of the clamp. So now we're at the back of the clamp. I'm going to try and get that so that we can get to it past the presser foot holder there. What we're going to do now is undo the screw a little bit so that the needle is loose, and pull the needle down just a tiny bit. Now the fixing screw, which is that one, has to go in that hole, but there are two other pieces that need to go on first, and they are these two pieces. And what they do is form a guide for the thread to clip onto the needle clamp. So this one first, the thinner one, goes on. Line that up with the hole there. What we're going to do is just lower the clamp just a little bit so that it's away from the needle threader. And then the second piece. So this goes around the needle and should sit over the hole there. Once that's in place, then the screw can go in. So now, if the needle's too high, the screw won't go in. So we're going to lower the needle down a little bit. And you can see there, the screw's gone in a bit lower now. You can do that. It is a torque fitting. So give that a wiggle. Torque fitting screwdriver number 6 that you need, T6 for this. Just trying to locate that. Of course, it's all internal, so you can't actually see. Pull that down a bit. Try that again. Pull that needle down. There you go. So this pin actually is the stopper. So when you push the needle in, it bangs up against the spring, and then when you do the clamp up on the right hand side, it pushes the wedge across and holds everything tightly in position. Now, the screw at the back needs to be reasonably tight, but you do need to be careful with these screwdrivers, otherwise they twist like that. So what we would do now is thread it from the front to make sure the thread is going to pass these two guides and sit in position. If not, we might need to just relocate them ever so slightly. They can't be that far out, but every now and again they bump into each other and they can pinch the thread. But that's essentially what we're up to.